Most Americans agree that our politicians are too old. You think? With the average age of lawmakers in the Senate somewhere being around 64, that's a year away from retirement age. But new, slightly younger leadership could be on the way to change all that. What do you think?
I really like this story. Politico put this out, said, hey, we got two almost octogenarian guys running for president here, but hey, don't worry.
Old man versus old man. I mean, That's just a truth. One of them is orange, the other one's bumping into damn walls. Look at these guys. McConnell, is he alive? I mean, you look at the guys, is he really alive? Pelosi, Jesus, she has been shellacked, or I don't know what she's done to stay preserved. But the point is, this is it. This is it. And the story says there's younger people coming, but they ain't that young. Exactly. They're in the 60s, and that's young.
Right. They're like, hey, don't worry. We've got people in their mid-50s to mid-60s to usher in this younger generation of politicians, which I guess technically it's still better, but at the same time, we need the 30-year-olds. We need the 40-year-olds. We need the people to represent a majority of the people that went through the same things coming of age that they did. And that's the difference. These are the people who sat in office, except for Trump, because he didn't get into 2016. They oversaw the financial disaster of 2007, 2008. They got us into Iraq. They got all of these endless wars, all of these financial problems, all of this deregulation. Exactly. They were all in office while these disasters were shaping our lives, and we don't really have voices in there.
Have we been unfair, or have we doctored at these pictures at all?
A little bit, a little bit. Yes, we do.
Yeah. The truth is, this is who they are.
It is.
And we're looking at it and we're saying, this is the future. Oh, but don't worry about it. We got some 60-year-olds coming too. What about the 30-year-old? What about the 40-year-old or the 50-year-old that says, you know what, I got some good ideas. Get out of the way, Pelosi. Get out of the way, Biden or McConnell. Get out of the way. Let us try something new, because we damn sure couldn't screw up as bad as you have. Isn't that kind of the argument here?
Exactly. And what's remarkable too is that when you get to those younger generations, there actually is a lot more agreement than you have with some of these folks. You've even got younger conservatives that say, yeah, I'm for all of these traditional conservative things, but I also think climate change is a very big threat and we should do something about it. So there's more common ground with these younger generations than there is with the older ones.
What do you think these people have in common with a Generation Z or millennial that can't even afford a house, okay? That the goal, their big goal, God, I hope I can afford a house. Instead, they're living with mom. They're living with mom and pop. What do you think they have in common with that person? Nothing.
Right.
And so that new blood has got to come in, and people have to say, I got to listen to what this young person, this young woman is saying, this young man is saying. And, I guess what we thought is, we thought, well, we're going to revolutionize politics if we just let women in. Well, it did help. But now we need to move to the next stage. We got to revolutionize politics by letting some young women, some young men, some more people of color in, and let's mix it up a little, because these folks, they've created a disaster.
They really have. And part of the reason we don't have many more young folks there is because these people are all still here. Why
do they stay? What is it that possesses McConnell and Pelosi and Biden to Trump to come in and say, this is so damn important to me?
I see, that's what I really don't get, other than just, I want power. Because you look at everybody up here, these people could have retired decades ago and lived a lifestyle that we could only imagine.
Yeah.
Just been happy and free the rest of their lives, playing golf, out on the water, fishing, doing whatever.
Is it a sickness of some kind, you think?
It's got to be some level of narcissism.
I was just going to say, it sounds a lot like narcissism to me, Anyway, Farron, thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
You keep the important stories out there. And I know you come on this show, and sometimes I disagree with what you're saying and you disagree with what I'm saying. But we're always going to land at the end of the show to say that was a good discussion.
Really.
And that's all we can hope for. Thanks
Absolutely.
a lot. That's all for this week. But all these segments are going to be posted right here on this channel in the coming week. So make sure you're subscribing. I'm Mike Papantonio, and this has been America's Lawyer, where we tell you the stories that corporate media won't tell you because their advertisers don't let them tell the story, because if they do, the advertiser's going to pull the money. Or their political connections, they don't allow for it because, God Almighty, if you're Republican, you better color within the lines. Or if you're Democrat, you better color within the lines. Well, I got to tell you something. We forgot around here how to color within the lines. Hopefully we'll see you next time.
That it had helped dirty money flow through its branches around the world, including at least 800...
Plaintiffs allege that the defendants provided money and medical goods to terrorist groups Hezbollah and Jaish al-Mahdi.
This is a well-organized business for these individuals that carry out these attacks. Terrorism is a business, and they run it like a business.
They knew about what was going on for a decade. They absolutely, no question about it, knew that HSBC was washing money. They had every reason to understand it was for terrorism and it was for drug cartels. Took no action whatsoever.
These banks are involved. Their accounts are connected, and they're using them to mask the transactions. The more complicated they can make the transactions, the more distance they can put between the bad guys and the seemingly legitimate purpose of these funds.
They pay $1.9 billion, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what they've made, and nobody goes to prison. These CEOs, these bankers that made this decision, they're safe at home. They know what they've done. It's resulted in the death of Americans, contractors and soldiers, not just hundreds, but thousands. And we look the other way because they don't look like criminals. The die is cast. The people that are responsible are on Wall Street.
And they don't look like criminals. It's almost a suspension of disbelief. Sometimes I'll have people call me and say, is this real? Do they really get away with this? Yeah, they do.